The northern frontier Hokkaido at the cold crown of the country. Hokkaido is a land of wide-open plains, volcanic soil, and long, snow-buried winter. The cooking here is built around one idea: surviving the cold. That means rich, warming, calorie-dense food made to fuel a body through months of frost. It's also the most recently settled part of Japan, so the cuisine feels younger and more experimental than in the rest of the country. What really sets Hokkaido apart is scale. This single island holds roughly a quarter of all of Japan's farmland, produces about half the nation's dairy, and grows close to 80% of its potatoes. Out at sea, it lands the largest seafood haul of any region, somewhere around a quarter of the entire national catch. It's the only part of Japan that grows far more food than it eats, with a self-sufficiency ratio above 200%. The flagship dish is Sapporo's miso ramen, a thick, fat-laced pork and miso broth invented in the postwar 1950s specifically to keep working bodies warm in the snow. Then there's jingisukan, mutton grilled on a dome-shaped iron griddle plus mountains of sea urchin, salmon roe, crab, and scallops. And ramen would go on to become Japan's edible obsession, but the version that truly conquered the country wasn't born here. Hold that thought. The snow country Tohoku drops south onto the main island of Honshu, and you hit the snow country. The northeast, called Tohoku, gets buried under some of the heaviest snowfall on Earth, which is exactly why it became Japan's rice bowl. Meltwater-fed paddies produce premium short-grain rice like Akita Kamachi, and the brutal winters pushed people to preserve, ferment, and slow-cook everything they could. The food here is rustic, frugal, and deeply seasonal. In Akita, there's kira tampo, pounded rice molded around cedar skewers and toasted over coals, then dropped into a steaming hot pot. Sendai is obsessed with juten, charcoal grilled beef tongue sliced thick and served with barley rice. Iwate has wanko soba, an endurance-style meal of endless tiny noodle bowls that servers keep refilling until you tap out. And when autumn arrives, whole communities gather on riverbanks for imoni, a taro and meat stew cooked outdoors in giant pots. It's food shaped entirely by hardship and harvest. From the quiet north, the country's busiest table is next. The capital's table, Tokyo and Kanto Tokyo, once known as Edo, sits at the center of the Kanto Plain. You'd expect the seat of power to eat like royalty, but the city's most famous foods actually started as fast street food for ordinary working townspeople. Edome sushi was born in the early 1800s in Edo as a grab-and-go hand snack, a slice of fresh Tokyo Bay fish pressed onto vinegared rice and eaten standing up at a stall. The luxury came much, much later. The same street food energy gave the world tempura. Originally a quick fried bite sold curbside, soba, thin buckwheat noodles, became the lunch of choice for their speed and lightness. Underpinning all of it is the region's dark, strong-bodied soy sauce, much of it still brewed in nearby Chiba. Today, the whole system flows through Toyosu, the largest seafood market on the planet. The food now climbs inland into the mountain. The roof of Japan's Central Highlands cut into the interior, and the cooking heads uphill into the Central Highlands of Nagano and Gifu. This is landlocked, high-altitude Japan, walled off from the sea, so the diet leans on what the mountains, rivers, and cellars can provide: buckwheat, freshwater fish, game meat, and a deep tradition of fermenting. The cool, clear, sloped areas are perfect for buckwheat, which is why Shinshu soba from Nagano is considered some of the finest in the country. The region is also the heartland of bean-based red miso, including Gifu's hoba miso, where the paste is grilled right on a dried magnolia leaf over a tabletop flame. And then there's real wasabi cultivation began roughly 400 years ago in the spring-fed village of Utogi before spreading across the highland. And Nagano's Azumino is now one of the largest crystal-clear water wasabi farms anywhere. Here's the twist most people never learn. Almost none of the green paste served abroad is actually wasabi. It's usually dyed because true grated wasabi is so delicate it loses its sharp kick within minutes. From these inland peaks, follow the rivers west to the wild coast. The Sea of Japan coast Hokuriku faces the cold sea of Japan and catches enormous winter snowfall that melts into pure, soft mountain water. Niigata sits at the center of it as Japan's undisputed rice king, home of the famous koshihikari grain, and as its sake capital. The prefecture holds around 90 breweries, most of them more than a century old. That clean snowmelt water produces a crisp, bone-dry style locals call Tanrei Karakuchi. Further along the coast, Kanazawa and Ishikawa developed an unusually refined, almost aristocratic cuisine known as Kaga Ryori, delicate, beautifully plated, and famously paired with gold leaf since the city produces nearly all of Japan's edible gold. Neighboring Toyama is prized for translucent white shrimp and glowing firefly squid, while the whole region goes wild each winter for snow crab. From this elegant coastline, drop into the historic heart of the country, where the cooking splits in two. The heart Kansai was the cradle of Japanese civilization, and its food carries two completely different personalities. Kyoto, the imperial capital for over 1,000 years, refined cooking into an art form. This is the home of kaiseki, the seasonal multi-course haute cuisine, plus silky udofu tofu, heirloom kyoyasai vegetables, and uji matcha. Kyoto is essentially the soul of washoku, the traditional dietary culture. UNESCO formally recognized in 2013 a style built almost entirely on dashi and the deep savory hit of umami. The so-called fifth taste, which a Japanese chemist first isolated from kombu seaweed back in 1908. Then there's Osaka, which couldn't be more different. Nicknamed the nation's kitchen, it's the loud, greasy, gloriously unpretentious street food capital, where the local motto is Kuidaore, eat until you drop. This is the birthplace of takoyaki octopus balls, mixed batter kansai okonomiyaki, and deep-fried kushikatsu skewers. And nearby in Yogo sits a delicacy with the strictest rules in the food world, but that needs its own moment. Kobe beef comes only from the pure Tajima bloodline, raised entirely within the prefecture, and only grades A4 or A5 qualify. The result? Just 3,000 to 5,000 cattle earn the name each year. From this powerhouse, the country narrows toward its calm inland sea. The inland sea Chugoku wrapping around the sheltered Seto Inland Sea, the Chugoku region is defined by calm waters and rich seafood. Its showpiece city is Hiroshima, famous for a fiercely local take on okonomiyaki. Unlike Osaka's mixed version, the Hiroshima style is layered like a tower batter, a huge pile of cabbage, pork, egg, and a hidden nest of yakisoba noodles, all built up on the griddle and flipped as one. The other obsession here is oyster. Hiroshima Bay grows around 60% of all the oysters in Japan, fattened by mineral-rich water pouring down from the surrounding mountain, and the island of Miyajima serves them grilled, fried, and raw. The region also gives you soft, slow, grilled Anago saltwater eel and sun-soaked lemons. And out toward Yamaguchi lies Japan's most dangerous delicacy, fugu, the puffer. Its organs carry a poison with no antidote, so chefs train for years and need a special license to serve it because one careless cut is genuinely lethal. The noodle island Shikoku, the smallest of Japan's 4 main islands, and its cuisine is wonderfully single-minded. Kagawa, the tiniest prefecture in the entire country by area, is so devoted to one dish, it's not an exaggeration. Locals here eat roughly 7 times more udon than the average Japanese person, and the prefecture packs in around 600 udon shops. The star is Sanuki udon, thick, springy, almost chewy noodles served in a light golden broth made from iriko, tiny dried sardines. The udon culture runs so deep that some shops open at dawn and sell out by midday, and many people eat a bowl for breakfast. Beyond the noodles, the island offers Kochi's katsuo no tataki, skipjack tuna seared hard over a roaring straw flame, plus the bright citrus of Ehime's Mikan oranges and Tokushima's sudachi. From this noodle-obsessed island, the journey heads to Japan's bold, porky southwest. The southern gateway Kyushu is the closest of the main islands to mainland Asia, and that proximity made its cooking the boldest and most pork-heavy in the country. And here's the payoff to that opening promise. The tonkotsu ramen the whole world now craves, that milky, collagen-rich pork bone broth, was invented in the Fukuoka city of Kurume in 1937 at a humble street stall called Nankin Senryo. Hakata's signature thin, straight noodles paired with it perfectly. Long-haul truckers spread the reputation nationwide. And today, Fukuoka alone is said to have over 1,000 ramen shops. The street food scene runs even deeper through Hakata's open-air yatai stalls, and the region is famous for fiery mentaiko spiced cod roe and rich motsunabe offal hot pot. Down in Kagoshima, the prize is kurobuta black pork and sweet potato shochu, the local spirit. Nagasaki, a centuries-old trading port, blends in foreign influence with champol noodle soup and castella, a fluffy sponge cake the Portuguese brought through the old Dejima trading post. Keep heading south, far past the main islands, into a different world entirely. The subtropical island Okinawa was once the independent Ryukyu kingdom, trading directly with China and Southeast Asia, and its food reflects that history far more than mainland Japan's. The cuisine is built around pork, with a famous philosophy of using every part of the pig from rafute, melt-in-the-mouth braised pork belly, to the ears and feet. The signature everyday dish is goya shampuru, a stir-fry of bitter melon, tofu, egg, and pork, alongside hearty Okinawa soba in a pork-based broth. After World War II, American military influence layered in something unexpected: canned spam, now a staple in dishes like taco rice. But the most fascinating thing about Okinawa is its longevity. These islands are one of the world's celebrated blue zone, with women here long counted among the longest-lived people on the planet. The traditional diet is likely rich in sweet potato, tofu, and vegetables, and light on meat, with small portions guided by hara-hachi bu, the practice of eating only until you're 80% full. And that's the perfect place to end, because it captures the whole story of Japanese food in two extremes. In the frozen north, the cooking is rich, fatty, and built to fight the cold. In the subtropical south, it's light, plant-forward, and quietly built for a long life. Two opposite philosophy, one archipelago, yet from top to bottom, every region is bound together by the same obsession: respect for the ingredient and reverence for the season.